Okay. We'll be starting in a bit. Just trying to check to make sure it's working fine. Okay. And I hope you can all hear me clearly.
Just trying to check
Okay.
to make sure.
That's perfect. And don't forget to set your uh, YouTube setting to 720 pixels. So either 720 or 480, or else you might not see my screen clearly. It might look blurred at your end. So let me leave that in this chat box. Okay, so we'll be starting now then. So almost done with typing this out. See the video clearly. Set your YouTube resolution to 720 pixel or 480 pixel. Okay. So welcome to this month's webinar, and for this month I'll be taking us through the new features in Microsoft Excel 2016. As a background, before now, Microsoft used to use a 3 to 4 year upgrade cycle. So we have Excel 2003, then after that there was Excel 2007, and then Excel 2010, and Excel 2013, now Excel 2016. But things are changing drastically now. Microsoft is pushing a lot more for Office 365 and a release cycle that is no longer tied to 3 years. So I think it's almost monthly, but I think for most users, you might, because I set myself there's what we call insider, so I get more updates than a regular user will get. But I think it's about a 3 month cycle now, so you get new features every 3 months on the minimum. And so most of these features I'm showing you are features that have come up since not just the first Excel 2016, but as I've updated till now. Okay, so I'm going to start from the first one, Excel Addins, right from Microsoft Office Store. You can, let me show you what I mean. Okay. So that should come up now. So right under your Insert tab, this is Excel 2016. So right under your Insert tab, you'll see the store icon. It's also in Excel 2013. So just that with Excel 2016, you get the full range of apps. There are some apps that don't work on Excel 2013, but that work. There are no all apps work on Excel 2016. So you get a more comprehensive listing of apps that you can install. Okay, so let me just let it load up. By the way, uh, can you signify if you are hearing me well? Okay, and as you've seen, it's loaded up the different add-ins. If you have time, you can scroll through and check out the ones that might be of use to you that you find interesting. For me, let me show you the ones I use. So this, you might find it really useful if you run predictive modeling. Okay, thanks for the feedback. Okay, great, you're all hearing me clearly. So I will move on then. So you might find this useful, this Preveder forecasting tool. The which other ones? Decision trees. If you find yourself doing stuff along that line, you might want to test it out. I have not tested it out, so I don't know. Let me just go straight to the ones I installed. If I go to my Addins, then it will show the ones that I have installed, the ones I've used. So I use this as Azure Machine Learning. It helps you with sentiment analysis, some other interesting thing. Let me see if I can demo for you an example. Okay, I'm going to demo this. Then also my own Nigerian market data app. In fact, please install this one, right? So you can test it out for me. And to install it is very straightforward. You go to the store and you type Nigerian market data, Nigerian, okay, Nigerian market data. And once you do that, it will bring it up and you click on add and instantly it loads it up. You will see it come up now. This is it. So with it you can get some very useful information about the financial and economic uh, system in Nigeria. So financial and economic data. For instance, you want to pull out the stock price of say yesterday. I click on yesterday and instantly it will pull it out for me. So it takes a while. As you can see, it's pull out the dates, so which is 25th of April, and you can see it pull out the closing price, the market capitalization of those stocks. So if you are into stocks, this is something you will like. But if you are not into stocks, so maybe yours is FX rate. You want to know, maybe you travel a lot, or you, for whatsoever reason, you want to keep your tab on the FX rate. So there's that one for that FX rate, and it's against the naira. So all of what you're seeing here are using naira as the second base. So it's not like you are looking at Australian dollars to dollar and then you have to take it back to naira. So now it's showing, USD. Actually, it uses the CBN rate. So it's not the Aboki FX or black market rate. That's the only thing that you might worry about. But all the major currencies in the world, and especially in African countries, so you have Egyptian pound, Kenyan shilling, Sierra Leonean loan, and like that, Rwandan, the rest. And so I have some really interesting things there. The Brent crude oil price. So as at yesterday, crude oil price was 51.96 dollars per barrel. You want to pull out the our oil production level, right? So it pulls them out. So you see, this is in thousands of barrels per day. So this is actually 1.55 million barrels per day. So this was what we averaged in the month of March. Once April's data is out, I'll fill it in. Okay, so you can see our crude oil price, crude oil production trend. You can see there was a time using, we all know why anyway. So also inflation rates, you can pull the inflation rate, you can see. So these are some of the things that, well, like this is my own app on that App Store, and you see it's easy to install, right? There are others that you might find interesting. Let me just be done with this part. Let me show you. How about unemployment rate? Well, let's go to something more interesting. Maybe you are doing a demo and maybe you need 6 Nigerian names, right? Or let's even start with, you want to just pull a random Nigerian name. You need to do a demo, you want to use a Nigerian name, and instantly this will get you a Nigerian name, right? So it pull out Adewale, Oluwa, Tose. If I need 6 Nigerian names, I type in 6, I come in here, I say bring for me that, and you see it's pull out 6 different Nigerian names. So you might find this useful if you're trying to do a demo, you've got a project, but you need to put in some people's name. You don't have the time to start typing names, and you want to use Nigerian names. So because the problem is, if you go online to search for names, try demo names, you will find a lot more foreign names. Okay, for those who think the the screen is blur, you need to set for, if you're having uh, blurry screen, you need to set your YouTube resolution. Let me see if I can show you how to do the YouTube resolution. To You need to set it to either 480 or 720. I'm going to show you how now. I think I have one open up. Let me quickly show you that. Okay, great. Let me keep this. So you see this gear icon, you click on it and you set it quality level to the highest. I'm not going to do that because it will eat into my bandwidth, but that's what you need to do. So you set it to the highest. If your internet will be lagging at that, you can set it 480. 480 will still make things clear, but if you really have a good internet, then 720 is preferable. Okay, and if you have any question, please drop it for me. Okay, how do we get to the add-in panel? Oh, it's under insert, so I'm going to answer that now. The add-in panel is under insert menu. It's under insert menu. So you'll see it under insert, and then you see it right here, like in the, well, to the left of the middle. So those are some of the, if you need an inspiring quote, just want an inspiring quote, and instantly it will extract that for you. Okay, see. So maybe this world is another planet hell, and it's quotes that are short, that fit into the 150 140 Twitter character. So you can put this on Twitter, share it with friends. You are bored, you are at work, you just need a quote to liven you up, to share with friends on WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. So, and if I click on it again, it's going to get me another random quote. So it's not like it getting you the same quote. See, it gets me another random quote. And then you have the other stuff. So let me not take too much of our time on my own heading. Let me show you another one. So let's say you have, I'm going to create a new, okay, okay. Right. So I'm going to go to a new sheet, and I'll go to store. I told you that there are some apps some add-ins that I use. So these are the ones I've installed, but the one I've used a lot. So this is this other one, Azure Machine Learning. So I'm going to insert it, and then I'll take you through how it works. It's very interesting. I'm going to close mine. So let's say you have you got some feedback from clients. Maybe you carried out a survey and people started answering, "Oh, great service." Another person says, "Really enjoyed the event. Terrible. You guys rock. This sucks. Bad. Good." You get the idea. So you have a bunch of feedback texts, right? And the problem with text data is they are not numbers. You can't plot them. So you might need something to do what we call text sentiment analysis, and that's what I really use that Azure machine learning for a lot. So I'm going to select this stuff, right? I'll click on text sentiment analysis, and instantly, okay, so right, so this is it. I'll come in here and say this is my text, including the header, and where do I want the output to be? I want the output to be, yeah, okay, and I want the output to be to be I want the output to be here anyway. Output to be here. I'm going to probably just copy this, paste here, and just change this to B1. Okay. Alright, so I'll say predict, and it does his lab stuff. What did he complain about? This thing used to work, so let's see, what did it say I do wrong? Okay, so I'm going to do B2, B1. Column names only in input. I think I will leave out column name, so I'll say my data does not have headers, so that way maybe to overcome the problem. Okay, great. So you get the you can see what it has done. It's come up with positive, positive. This is not working fine. Terrible is negative. Shouldn't have been neutral. So but you can see from the score actually, the ones that said you guys rock, had a higher positive score. Then this sucks. See, a negative score. Which other one was negative? This should have been negative, but he gave it neutral. Good. See, bad too should have been negative. It's not fully accurate, but that's as best as you can get for now, because there's no other inbuilt Excel formula that can do this for you. So what you just have to do is much more pay attention to the score, and that way you can know which was more positive, which was less positive. Okay, so that's for that. I'm going to move on to any questions before I move on to the next one. What's the name of my Addin panel? The name of my Addin panel is Nigeria Market Data. It's the Addin name, so you can search for it and install. So I'll move on to the next on the slide, and okay, so we're done with explaining that you now have access to Excel add-ins, and to install it, to install any Excel add-in, you go to insert menu, you see the store, and then you can what I do a lot of times, I scroll through them so I read their description and I install the ones I feel are useful to me. The next one is you now have new draw menu. See, after insert there is a menu called draw. And what does it do? It allows you to better annotate. Have you ever done a chart in Excel and you wanted to point someone's attention to something, and so you want to draw? You don't just want to use the normal arrow. You want to maybe circle something there. You want to do something more creative than the normal arrow and shapes, right? With this one, you can do it nicer. And if your laptop is a touch screen one, it has touch screen life, is really good. You can write as if with your handwriting, so it makes you giving feedback faster. So that way you can write, oh, I need you to quickly review this, and you're writing it in English and you're circling and you're doing arrows here and there. And so unfortunately my PC does not have a touch screen capability, so I will have to use my mouse, but you get the idea of how it works. Okay, so it's under its here draw, so let me close this. maybe I want you to pay attention to some specific ones. So I come in here and I say I want to circle in red some specific ones. So this negative and neutral, I want you to pay attention to them, right? And maybe this positive, the one with the very high positive figure. So this positive ones too. I need to undo that. Okay, so I'm going to. It's not easy when you're using a mouse. Okay, and you can write. So I can say, oh, I want. If you have a, it's really nice with a touch screen, cause that way you can write with your hands and circle with your hands. And so if you have a touch screen device, great. But if you don't have, you can still be able to do what I'm doing, just that you might not be as neat as when you have a touch screen device, right? So these are stuffs that you now have in Excel 2016 that were not in previous editions. Let me check. Any question? Is is Azure machine learning useful? No, no, not just for feedbacks. So not just. So you're asking, is Azure machine learning used only for feedback? No, it's not just for feedback. It's just like the name says, machine learning. It helps you to, like that example I used was for text sentiment. For that sentiment, text sentiment, yeah, mostly for feedback. You use that for feedback, or you've gotten a bunch of tweets online and you want to evaluate, which ones are positive, which ones are negative, and or you feel you give your customers surveys to fill, and you want to, beyond just doing the normal number-based analysis, you also want to see which comments were positive, which were negative. Then you will find this useful for that too. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next. If you have a question, please drop them. I'll be able to. I'm checking the question. I'm checking the chat. Do you just click eraser to remove the? Okay, so how do you clean off what you've drawn? So if I want to clean off what I've drawn, there are two ways. Eraser works. So let me show you with eraser. So I do it eraser, it cleans it off. Another way is you can do the select, right? After you click on select, so that no more, you are no longer with this, you're on select, then you click on the stuff and you do delete, so it wipes it off. And if I want to draw again, like if I want to write, so okay, so this is what it does mainly anyway. So if with the eraser I can clean off some portion, I can clean off this portion, can rewrite it. Alright, so I'm going to move on to any other question. Alright, so I'll move on to the next. This will be very interesting to a lot of you who are heavily into visual stuff, charts, infographics, and you've always been wondering, all those cool infographics, how can I get to do them? Do I always have to go and use another software? Can't I do them in Excel? Well, now you can. Before, yes, you could, but just that, you always have to go and get the icons. Like before, when I do infographics, I even used to use PowerPoint, so that way I get some images, and then I I'm almost like doing Photoshop to get the final result, right? But now you can do them natively in Excel, at least to some extent, right? So you now have the infographic icons, and let me walk us through them. So again, I'm going to go to a new sheet. So under insert, right, you're going to see like a bird with a leaf underneath it. So it's called icon. When I click on it, you would not have this if you don't use 2016. So that's why I'm saying these are the things, new features in 2016. So I click on it and it loads up all the infographics icon sets, right? So maybe you want to do something about a family. Maybe you work for Society for Family Health and you guys are doing some family survey. I can click on this. This is useful. I insert it, right? And it's coming. Great. So I insert it, and you can do whatsoever computation you want to do around them. So I'm going to do something really quick here now. So for infographic, it's good you switch off. So we have maybe across the different states. So maybe this is Lagos State. This is here state. Let's do one more state. Okay. So let's say for Lagos we have. I think I might just drag this down here. So maybe in Lagos we have maybe 20. I can rearrange. I can set them once I'm done anyway. So maybe we have 1 million families, or let's say 5 million families in Lagos. So 5 million families in Lagos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5. So I'm going to say it should align bottom. Okay, and it should align. It should distribute horizontally. Okay. Okay. So we have 5 families in Lagos. Maybe in Oyo 5 million. So million. So this is and then you do most of the time. You also do what at you insert like texts. Let me use a word art. Word art to give me some nicer. So maybe I use this. So 5 million families. If I have time, I can make this look a lot better, but I just need to do something real quick for you to see. And maybe Oyo State has 3 million families. Maybe Bayelsa has. Okay. Right. So Oyo State has 4 million families. Bayelsa has 2 million families. So you get the whole idea. I can. All I need to just do is. So let me just complete what I've done. Bring this here. Bring this here. So 2 million families. And I can change their colors. Right. So Lagos will have a different color. So I can change the color. So I'm going to change the color, shape fill. Maybe Oyo State I'll give first of all, I don't want to change the color for this. Okay. Alright. No. Graphics fill. And I can do for Bayesa, and I give a different color. What color should I give? So maybe this, right? So you can customize it. When you're done, you have the same something as good as what you see in those infographics. So you don't have to go start looking for another software. You get a lot more. You get a lot more inbuilt icons. So let me just walk us through the icons that you might find interesting. So I've shown you, if you want to show population of male versus female, you use this. Just people generally, whether male or female, you use this one without where the sex is not specified. A group of people, a meeting, a community. So all these are about people, children, presentation, someone who is handicapped, teaching, technology related stuff. So communication, emails, share, telephone. So all those things normally you would use in a very visual presentation. Now infographics specifically is what you find yourself using this a lot more for. So files, analytics, so we do analytics, we do these. Even if you're not planning to use this in Excel, you can insert it and put them in other reports you create outside of Excel, Word and the rest. I think they are also in Word and PowerPoint. Okay, so you see it's a lot, right? You want to put smiley faces, emoticons and symbols and things around nature, animals, food, season, weather, vehicles. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one, so I don't bore you with this. You should check them out anyway. You can see as I'm scrolling, it keeps loading up more and more. If you have any question, don't forget to leave your question. Drop it right now. So, any question? And so that's it for infographics. Now, what about the functions? We now have 6 new formulas to lighten your work in Excel. So some things that you need to do and probably use 3 or 4 formulas or use some convoluted ways to do. Now you can achieve them, you know, easily. So these are things to help boost your productivity. I'm going to take us through those formulas. So we have 6 new formulas. Concat. Let's see how concat works, right? Okay. So if you have, as you can see, I have a group of text, John, Michael, Smith. So with concat, it joins them together, right? But then you have this obvious problem of they are together. There is nothing separating them. Like I would prefer there should be a space separating them, right? So that's with text join, you can achieve that flexibility. You specify what you want to separate them, then you should ignore empty cells. So that's what this tree is for. You want to ignore empty cells. See? Ignore empty cells, and then what are the texts you want to join together? And instantly that gets us, it gets us this with them joined together, right? I mean, separated with space. What if you want to do, like in this case, I'm using it against grades. So you have grades, right? You have, A1, B1, B2, C, B3, C4, and the rest. And you want to give comments to them. So if someone has A1, you want to say is excellent. Before now, what you'll be doing is if formula, and you'll be doing if this is equals to A1, you know, comma, if this is, poor excellent, comma, if is equal to B2. Switch is a better way now. Right, so we use switch much more for when you have specific things, or maybe in your case, maybe you have different groups of products. Say maybe you do product A, product B, and each product has different price or discount allowed, and you want a formula in Excel that will get for you what's the price for this product, right? So you have different products. So let's see, we have different products. We have let me use something really. So we have a Samsung phone. Maybe we have a Nokia phone. Let's use one more. We have Techno phone. And each of all these products have different things about them, right? So if I want to be able to specify, use a formula that I can specify, whatever anybody selects here. So let's say, so enter font type, and then I want to put the comments. So with switch, I can do that easily and say, and I'll enter it here. So maybe the person has put a Nokia phone here. So with switch, I can say, switch. I can say, is this equal to Nokia phone? Let's start with, is this equal to Samsung phone? So if it's equal to this, if it is Samsung phone, maybe we have available. It's available. What if it is? It's not Samsung phone. It is. It's Nokia phone. So maybe Nokia phone not in stock, right? And what if it's Techno phone? So if it's a Techno phone, so maybe we say limited quantity. All right. So you see, why is it giving me limited quantity for Techno phone? Okay, available B23. Ho ho ho. I need to rewrite it. So this is the way. Yeah, I. Okay, so switch. My computer is not as fast as me anymore. So this is it. Then is the answer, is it a Samsung phone? If it's a Samsung phone, then say available. Otherwise, is it a Nokia phone? If it's a Nokia phone, then say not available. Then otherwise, is it a Techno phone? If it's a Techno phone, then say limited stock. So if I change this to Techno phone, limited stock. So essentially, it's a faster way of using if, right? But much more for when you have specific things you are checking against, like list of items. You normally will not use this for values, right? So when I'm doing something like a range of values, this will not be really nice for that. But when you have specific categories you want to check against, then switch will work really nice. Okay, so that is switch, and let's move on to, I've shown you, so I've explained switch now. What about ifs? Before now, there's what we call nested if. Normally the ordinary if does two comparison. It does one comparison actually, like checks for something, then yes or no. What if you want to check for more than just two outcomes, right? Like in this case, we have scores and want to translate them to want to grade those scores. So if you score above 70, we'll give you a grade of A1. Between 65 and 70, B2, right? If you are doing this with the normal if statement, you'll be doing nested if. You keep writing one if inside of another if, but now with ifs you can do everything straight in one go, right? So that's what it does, ifs. So that's what you're having here. It makes it neater and easier for people to understand what you've done, and you wouldn't even end up making some of those mistakes we make, where maybe you forgot to put a comma somewhere, or you didn't close all of the brackets, and some things are just going wrong when you have many ifs you've nested together. So this solves that problem. And then we have if you know, we already have what we call count if in Excel. So there has always been count ifs. There's also been some ifs and average ifs. So these are just additions to that family. So they are called max ifs. So max ifs and minimum ifs. And essentially what they do is, again, just like sum ifs, count ifs, average ifs, you provide a range of values, right? And then what you want to check again. So I want to sum these values. In this case, I want to find a maximum value that is for Pepsi. So I specified that, okay, this Pepsi, right? And it should get for me the maximum value that is for Pepsi. I can also do minimum value that is for Pepsi. So you can see 67 for maximum, and let's see, minimum 23, right? So those are the new formulas in Excel. Uh, depending on your use case, you might need them, you might not need them, but it's good you are aware they exist. These are things that is good to need, I mean, to have and not need, than to need and not have. So I'll move on to the next one. Next one on the slide. So the powerful Power Query. If you've always been hearing about the power tools in Excel, Power Query, Power Pivot, Power Map, Power View, well, there have been a lot of drastic changes. First off, Power View, I think, is no more. To even bring it to make it show up in Excel 2016, it's one convoluted means. They are deliberately hiding it. Microsoft is kind of wanting to discourage use of it, right? So let's just say Power View is no more. Then Power Map is still there, but uh, Power Map is still there. But the two ones that Microsoft is really expecting you to use heavily, that they are focusing more of their attention on, is Power Query and Power Pivot. And now what you have is Power Query is called Get and Transform. So if you have Excel 2016 and you're looking for Power Query, you won't find it as Power Query. It's now Get and Transform. Let me explain what that means. So I go to a new sheet, and under Data menu, you will see Get and Transform. So this Get and Transform is Power Query. You still have your traditional, get external data. After that, you see Get and Transform. So here, the full functions of Power Query are in here. You can import anything. Yeah, permit me to use the word anything. So from another Excel file, from a CSV file, an XML file, a text file, from JSON, these are like APIs, from a folder. So you can import, like many things, files, multiple files at once. So like in a folder, from SharePoint folder also. You can import from now a larger range of database. So you can import from SQL Server database, from Microsoft Access database, an online servers analysis services database, Oracle database, IBM, MySQL database, PostgreSQL database, Sybase, Teradata, SAP database. So you can see they've really expanded the link of database, the list of databases you can connect to natively. And also, Microsoft owns Azure, so they will definitely be pushing a lot more also in that direction. So you see, you can connect, if you use the Azure already, you can connect to a whole kind of different of your Azure solutions. So an Azure SQL database, like for me, I use an Azure SQL database for the backend of that Nigerian market data hub. So I can connect to it. I can connect to an Azure data warehouse, the Azure marketplace, HD Inside. HD Inside is more like a service that runs to show you performance of your uh, of whatsoever services you've deployed on Azure. So blob storage, this is for storing heavy documents and stuff like that. And then table storage. You can connect to also SharePoint, Microsoft Exchange, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM. You can connect to Facebook. It's just that I don't use my Facebook so well. So Salesforce. Let's try to connect to Facebook. Let me see what it will bring up. I've not had to use it because I don't usually go to Facebook. Whenever I go there, the pictures I see, they make me sad. It's like my own life is not progressing. I see too many people's, everything is going well in their lives. Facebook connector relies on third party, blah blah blah. Okay, so continue, and let's see what it will throw up. Maybe it will show me my username. What else? Yeah, let's try that. So I'm going to put in my username. And what do I want to connect to? Maybe I want to connect to comments, so I don't bring up things that are too personal. Let's see what it will do. So it tells me to sign in. So it asks for my sign-in details. Not really care. I don't care too much about Facebook. So if someone hacks the account, good luck to them, because Facebook is not really a key tool for me. So I'm going to pull out my password. I use a password manager. So login. Really wanting to see what it will pull out for me. Let me check if you have any questions. Okay, continue as Michael. Someone is advertising Bitcoin. I'm going to remove that comment soon. Okay. So connect. So you can see that you get a lot more functionality. Imagine now I'm connecting to Facebook from Excel. Imagine that. It says it's having problem with something. But anyway, you get the concept. You've seen it almost work. And other sources you can connect from web. So let me show you. This is really interesting. So let's say I searched for, say, world population by countries. Okay, so let's see. So let's check out. No, let's check out this one. No. This is not bad. So maybe to Excel, right? Wow, India and China are now almost the same population. That's interesting. China has dropped population wise. Nigeria, we're now number 7. We're almost 200 million. Wow. So I paste it here. What I did was I copied the link, right? So I paste it in here. I say okay. And okay, it should come up. Maybe my internet is slow. It doesn't take this long anyway. Okay, so it's coming up. Alright, so it's going to list all the tables possible in. Okay, great. So you'll see, let's say this, what's in here. It shows you a preview. No, I don't need this. This is that table I want. So I can load it in, right? So I'm going to just say load to, I'm going to load it to Excel. Waiting for it to do its magic. So it's going to ask me where I want to put it. I want to put it in this particular, in fact I want to put it here. So I just say here, there, and load. So if there are websites that you not serve anymore, right? You can just Excel can bring in those data for you. So now I have all those data in here, and it's interesting because I'm even finding it interesting. The stuff I'm seeing here, there are things that after this webinar I'll take a look at. It looks like everything is changing drastically. Not the same way it used to be when I was in secondary school. They say, oh, China is like 2 billion, like one quarter of the whole world is in China, and blah blah. Nigeria used to be like 120 million. Now we are almost double that. So I'll move on to the next one. Is there any other thing I'm to show us in here? So this move and this get and transform, it also allows you to combine. So there's what we call merge. You can merge, you can append. So maybe you used to get, you have data for maybe each branch separately, and you want to merge everything together. You don't have to always copy and paste. From here you can merge data, and if you want to explore the query editor full-fledged, so it has a query editor that you can go there and you can do a lot more transformations, this and that. So that's why I say it's Power Query. If you are familiar with Power, but with the Power Query essentially anyway, just that now it's called Get and Transform. Okay, so you have all of those functionalities. What I clicked to get to that query editor is under Combine Queries, Launch Query Editor. And that is it for that. Let's move on to the next on the slide. You have a forecast tool now. So you have under data menu a tool called forecast. Maybe you work with sales data. So let's look for something similar. So I work with sales data, right? Every day we fill in the daily sales. Now I want to forecast sales for the next 1 month. So I want Excel to look at the records, and from there, run some we call it time series anyway, time series analysis, and come up with a prediction of what I'll be doing for the next 1 week. So it helps you to plan ahead. If you are a logistics person, you can monitor your stock. Monitor which will go down soon, which you should need to restock. And you can monitor so you don't run out of stock. How to request for new replacements. But in this case, for sales, it gives you an idea of what your sales will be like. So if you have a sales target, you will know whether with the way things are going, you will hit your sales target or not. So let's see how it works. It's under data menu. You see forecast sheet. And so I've clicked on it, and automatically it's even selected the record. So you'll see for me it's done it, right? So it's done a prediction. If you are very good with statistics, you can modify some of so you can tell it that you don't want automatic, you want to set your own manually. You can even include the statistical significance and other details. So you can do as much as you want, but if you are just a regular Excel user, the automatic default settings will work nice for you, right? Because again, it's just to give you an idea of what will happen if things keep continuing the way they are. So I'm going to do create, and you can see instantly. Okay, so you can see instantly it is done it, and it does a chart for me. And if you are the statistically inclined person, you see what it's used for alpha, what is used for beta, what is used for gamma, and what it used for the error. These are for errors, root mean square errors. So essentially, it shows you in one click. So it shows you the forecasted value and the range. So these are like upper bound, lower bound range. So meaning like 95% assurance that it will be between this and this. So that's confidence interval. So it's assuring you that your sales for the next days will be between here and here with 95% confidence. But if you take the average, so this is what it's forecasting that you will do. So you find this useful if you are involved with planning. You want to just have an idea of how things will go based on how things have been going for the last couple of days, months. Okay, any question? Okay, no question. Let me. People are not asking questions. I guess you're all getting me then. Okay, then one. So you can integrate with your OneDrive and SharePoint. I'm going to share the slides anyway, so you can. I'll share with us the slide of this video, of this webinar. I'll share it. Just check the comment under the YouTube video once we are done. You'll see the slides there. So you can integrate with OneDrive and SharePoint. So what do I mean? In Excel 2016, if you go to File, you go to Account, you will see Add a Service. In fact, before they let us even integrate with LinkedIn, because then, I integrated with LinkedIn, and then if you send me an email, it will show your LinkedIn. If I put my mouse on your name, it will show your LinkedIn profile, like who you are, which company you work for. And that was really interesting. It was making, at a point I was now scrolling through mails people have sent me before, and I put my mouse on their name, and then it will pull out their LinkedIn details, and I will know who is who. Who are the just it's always nice to just know something about someone more than what they actually expect you know. But I don't know, maybe people complained about that, so they removed it. So, but now you can connect to SharePoint, OneDrive, and if you use other stuff. So if you work in an organization and you guys have Microsoft account, connect to it, so that way it can pull out, if it can show you your other colleagues. You can know who is who. You can have like a directory and office store too. So for me, I just use does the OneDrive. I also have SharePoint, but our company is not that big. We don't use much of SharePoint, so it's the OneDrive that is been a lot useful for me. So that way, there's some documents I work on that if I want to save, I can save them directly into my OneDrive folder, OneDrive account, and that way it's saved in the cloud automatically. Okay, so those are the new tools we have in Excel 2016. Some other ones that maybe I could have mentioned. So you see on that data menu here, you have data model, but it's not just 2016. It's been there in 2013. It's related more with the power pivot. If I click on this, it's power pivot that will come up, right? So you can create relationships, consolidate. So this is actually, you can see it's power pivot, and that is it for this month. Let me see if there are any questions. Okay, so thank you, and we hope to see you next month. And if you have any ideas as to what topic you want me to present on next month, yeah, please share. I'll be glad to share, to take your suggestions, so that we're able to do webinars that are much more useful to you, rather than things that are fancy but not useful. And again, we always try to show you what are new that you should be aware of. So I'm going to go end the webinar now. So thank you.